I'm an only child, and I think that's why I talk a lot, because I never had to compete with any other children to get my parents' attention. And so, you know, it's normal for me to just think that everybody's going to listen to me. Also, I think that it means that you've had to live in your head a lot. And I read a lot of books because you didn't have other kids around to play with. So, and also it causes you, I think, to become a writer. My greatest fear would be that I could never read another book, that I could never write another book, that something would happen to me whereby I couldn't see or I couldn't write, I couldn't communicate. Probably that, you know, I had my tongue cut out and that I couldn't talk. That would be the worst thing in the world. In fact, once I lost my voice and I was major breakdown material. The defining book of my life would have to be Tall Poppies, which was my first book. Because everybody's first book, it's probably like your first baby. It is such a major event, and it connected so readily and so well with these Australian readers that it was very exciting. Dusty Springfield. Dusty Springfield. I remember the day when a friend of mine rang up and said, "Oh, Susan, I don't know how to tell you this." I said, What's happened? She said, "Dusty's dead." And I thought, oh my God, and immediately had to play all of her music all day. I mean, there's a whole generation of people who just want to sing, and the thing about Dusty Springfield is that she lets it all out, and she lets it all rip, and, you know, all those songs go to the heart of everything. And I suppose she's the modern diva. I mean, it wasn't a big leap from Dusty Springfield to opera singers, really, because they're all divas and they're all singing about the same things. You don't have to say you love me, just be close at hand. I'd love to be Mae West, because I always thought Mae West was so sassy and so confident and so funny, and she just dismissed people with, you know, these fantastic one-liners. And I read a biography about her, and she evidently sat up all night making them up, working on them. Everyone just thinks she tossed them off, but it would be fantastic. And she was still acting when she was 70, so it would be fantastic to be Mae West. I've got the breasts, I just need the wit. My greatest influence was probably my dad, because he just used to say, you know, Polly, which was his favourite name for me, you can do anything you want to do. If I only had one book in my bookshelf, it would probably have to be the collected works of Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a genius, so probably it would be. I mean, I can reread Lear and Hamlet and Julius Caesar and all those plays. I mean, he knew everything about human nature that there was to know, and he had such command of the language. I think probably, and I'm not big on poetry, my favourite author would be T.S. Eliot, because after the Romantics and all that, you know, flowery, daffodils, trees, all that beautiful stuff, all very fine, but, you know, he actually turned everything on its head. My favourite word is curiosity, because I have always been curious. When I stopped being curious, as Margaret Whitlam would say, you might as well put your cue in the rack.